Okay, I ran out of storage, so I'm gonna read a different book. This one's The Body A to Z, the Dr. Matt and Dr. Mike Medical Podcast. I like that book, so I haven't read any of it really. I just keep going to. I'm gonna go to a random page of this book instead because it's more fun than that guy. Rotator cuff. What is the one before that? Rigor mortis. I'm gonna read that one instead. Rigor mortis. Even in the valley of shadow and death, 2 and 2 do not make 6. Leo Tolstoy's last words. A grim discovery was made one cool autumn morning in a quiet village. A local farmer stumbled upon the lifeless body of a naked man lying face down on a dirt path near the forest's edge. The village was hundreds of kilometers from any populated area, raising immediate questions. When the authorities arrived, a forensic pathologist examined the scene closely. The body lay in an unusual position, face down with the right arm bent sharply, fingers tightly clenched, legs rigidly crossed, and the head tilted unnaturally back. The body was cold to the touch, and its buttocks and thighs were covered in a purple discoloration. The tight grip suggested that the person had been clutching something important at the moment of his death. The body's journey after death. Once a person dies, the body undergoes a series of changes influenced by physical, biochemical, and environmental factors. Conditions such as hot and humid weather, higher body fat, open wounds, or infections can accelerate these post-mortem changes, while cold, dry weather or insufficient clothing can slow them down. Soon after death, the cells and tissues of the body begin to deteriorate through several processes. Let's look at them one by one. Rigor mortis, the cooling process. I also don't know if I pronounced it right. Rigor mortis, which means the coldness of death, refers to the body's cooling after death, which is essential for estimating the post-mortem interval, or how long it's been since the person died. The forensic pathologist would measure the cooling off of the man's body using a death thermometer, known as a thanatometer, which is inserted into the rectum or another body cavity like the ear or the base of the brain. The rate of cooling is calculated using the following equation. Normal body temperature minus rectal temperature divided by rate of fall of temperature per hour. Factors such as ambient temperature and whether the deceased is wearing clothing or other insulation can slow down the body cooling. Since the man has no clothes and the night before was cool, his body would have experienced a fast rate of rigor mortis. I don't know if the cooling. I'll just keep reading because I can watch this back, so if I don't understand it, I don't have to read it again, I can just hear it. Rigor mortis, the stiffening of muscles. Rigor mortis, or the stiffness of death, occurs due to the breakdown of biochemical processes that normally regulate muscle contraction. For muscles to function, 2 key molecules are needed: adenosine triphosphate, ATP, and calcium. When calcium is released into muscle cells, it triggers the small contractile proteins actin and myosin to bind together. The presence of ATP then allows these bound proteins to slide past each other, causing the muscle to contract. Here's the crucial part. Muscles require a fresh supply of ATP to relax after contracting. ATP is needed not only to initiate contraction, but also to break the bonds between actin and myosin, allowing the muscle to return to a relaxed state. After death, calcium floods into the muscle cells, causing actin and myosin to bind and initiate contraction. However, since the body is no longer producing ATP, the muscle fibers cannot release. Whoa, what am I yawning? However, since the body is no longer producing ATP, the muscle fibers cannot release, leaving them locked in place. This process creates the stiffness known as rigor mortis. This process typically begins between 2 and 6 hours after death. It peaks between 24 and 84 hours and then gradually fades as enzymes within the muscle cells break down the muscle fibers in a process called autolysis. This is the same enzymatic activity on which butchers rely when they hang animal carcasses. These enzymes tenderize the meat by breaking down the muscle fibers and connective tissues. Interestingly, rigor mortis starts first in the body's involuntary muscles, such as those in the heart, and follows a top-to-bottom progression. Observations from historical experiments in France on criminals who had just been beheaded by the guillotine showed, I don't know what the guillotine is, showed that rigor mortis began in the jaw muscles, then progressed down through the chest, upper limbs, abdomen, and lower limbs, and finally the fingers and toes. There are some peculiar effects of rigor mortis, such as its impact on the tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles, the erector pili muscles, which can cause goosebumps. Oh yeah, I remember that. Goosebumps was a book I used to to read, and now you can find another one at the dollar store called Creepers. In men, rigor mortis can even end the show Goosebumps. Oh my god, I remember the dog with the green eyes. The dog with the dog with the green eyes, and there was a that's a funny intro to the show. In men, rigor mortis can even stiffen. Look at my brain. What is it doing? Okay. Why is this always happening? Okay. In men, rigor mortis can even stiffen muscles in the reproductive tract, sometimes leading to post-mortem ejaculation, a detail that is sometimes misleadingly interpreted as recent sexual activity. Muscles that were heavily used right before death tend to stiffen almost immediately, which explains why the man's hand might be found tightly clenched around something. The onset and duration of rigor mortis, am I dead? The onset and duration of rigor mortis can vary widely. For instance, someone who exercised strenuously or had a high fever before death will experience a faster onset and shorter duration of rigor mortis. Temperature also plays a critical role. In very low temperatures, around 6 degrees Celsius, rigor mortis can take 48 to 60 hours to set in and can last up to 168 hours, while at warmer temperatures, around 37 degrees Celsius. It develops within 3 hours and resolves within about 6 hours. Livor mortis, the blood pools. I saw with my dad. I saw a what was it? A truck that said pool party? No, pool something, and it was a red font. Describes the way blood pools in the body after death due to gravity. When the heart stops pumping, blood settles in the lowest parts of the body, creating a reddish-blue discoloration in those areas. For example, if someone dies while lying on their back, the blood will pool in their back and buttocks and in the backs of their arms and legs. This color change starts slowly, with patches appearing 1 to 3 hours after death and gradually merging to form larger areas of discoloration within 6 to 8 hours. The pattern of discoloration can reveal a lot about the body's position at time of death. For example, if the person dies sitting upright with their legs crossed, the buttocks and thighs will show the most discoloration. Areas pressed against hard surfaces may remain pale because the pressure prevents blood from pooling there. A phenomenon known as pressure pallor. If a body is moved after death, but before livor mortis, here. I notice this is slipping away. There's also this picture that I can show you. See, I have something relaxed. Why can't I remember? That's not good. I think I'll remember later. That's normally what happens. It just takes me a while. I just have like this lag time. Like I do something and then it's like buffer and then go. So it's okay. If and it helps if I read it out loud, because then I can watch. I don't think that's. I'm not gonna think it through too much, but I think that when I go back and I look at the video or hear it, listen to it, then it's my own voice talking, and I remember it because I don't have an internal monologue, and I keep repeating that to everybody now because I realize that's. I saw it from Hank Green. I saw his thing about the internal monologue, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like something I know, because I did have it also when I was little. Like I had an internal monologue talking to myself, but I don't know. Maybe I just talk out loud. That is my internal monologue. This is my internal monologue right now. On this screen is an internal monologue that's going onto YouTube. Anyways, if a body is moved after, what am I time at? 9 and I only did like 3 minutes, 10, 11, 12. I can make it longer, right? Because we could do the rotator cuff too. Shit. Anyways, after I read this last paragraph, I'm going to quickly stitch these together, and then I'm going to upload it, and then I'm not going to watch it until later because I know that I'll get too self-conscious if I watch it back. That's always what happens. If a body is moved after death but before livor mortis is fully set, the pattern of discoloration will change. However, and I might starting being concerned that I'm already dead now. That's my next big fear. So, if a body is moved after death but before livor mortis is fully set, the pattern of discoloration will change. However, once livor mortis becomes fixed, usually 6 to 12 hours after death, the pattern remains, providing clues about the body's original position at the time of death. Adding to the mystery, our victim was found face down, but his livor mortis was concentrated in his buttocks and legs, suggesting he had been moved after death. Uh-oh. I have a bookmark for this book that I really like. It's Down Under. Dun, 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 dun. I don't really care who's watching this or if nobody's watching it, because I'm the one. I'll watch it, and it'll help me do something. There's the 3 Musketeers. I haven't had that chocolate bar ever in my life. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put treble. I put a happy face bracelet. I think it has red paint on it still from when it has blue paint from when I painted I painted this like cabinet thing, and I know nobody cares, but I care because I know that those things make me happy. And it's 11 minutes, so I'll stitch these together. This is, oh yeah, I put this Angry Birds. There's like literally hairs everywhere. I'm going bald. This is this, and then I put testimony on the back, because as soon as I saw this on that day, there was some day when I was gonna pass. As soon as I saw that book, I asked my mom if she could order it, because I used to walk down Grand Boulevard, and like when my collarbone was broken, I would walk down Grand Boulevard and listen to all the Dr. Matt and Dr. Mike, and part of the area where you walk on the part where you walk near the psych ward outside when you go on the group walks, there's like sort of a map. It's like and I remember actually where I heard about after class, biology class, which is way better, but because you're there and you can see the pictures. But well, I also like walking too. I wish I could walk at school. Like, I wish there was just like I don't know. Maybe that is what it is. Anyways, what was I gonna say? The contractions of the heart happened when I felt like I understood it. I always feel like I understand, and then it just drifts away. I feel like I understand, and then it drifts away. But that moment was like the action potential or the calcium that happened right at the intersection by the Hope Center. Like, there's this intersection, and there's a road, and there's that intersection, and then there's that crosswalk, and there's that. It's like that 4 thing, and then the Hope Center, not the Hope Center, the Ho Center, the with all the shrinks inside, all nice. I'm going on a tangent, but all I'm saying is that I was over there when I heard about the heart doing cool stuff, and then I walked home. That's basically what I was trying to say. Anyways, maybe I'll cut that part out. So